Good day. This video talks about the survival strategies in uncertain environments because it is a fact that businesses most of the time or sometimes face uncertainties. Now, let us first define environmental uncertainty. Environmental uncertainty may be defined as a lack of complete information regarding what exists and what developments may occur in the environment. This uncertainty makes it difficult for managers to perform the following. First, analyze constituencies and their needs. Second, predict future state of affairs. And third, understand their potential implications for the organization. Okay. So, what are the dimensions of environmental uncertainty? There are two important dimensions of environmental uncertainty. We have here complexity and rate of change in these factors. Complexity refers to the number of different factors in the environment, such as information, capital, material, people, and other organization. For example, consider a university situated in a city, right? Some environmental factors to consider would be the availability of qualified teachers in the area and the income of people in the area. Or consider a university situated in far-flung areas. So it would be hard to hire teachers. Okay, so environmental uncertainty rises as the number of factors increases. Now, rate of change in these factors, okay, so these are the factors in the external environment change from time to time. For instance, income levels and the number of qualified teachers may increase or decrease after a few years. Environmental uncertainty rises as the rate of change increases. Okay. So to survive and grow in uncertain environments, two general options are available to business organizations. So what are these options? First, we have application of coping strategies. Coping strategies refer to the transformation of a part or all of the organization to make its activities more compatible with existing environmental conditions. And adaptation of environmental control measures. Environmental control refers to management actions to identify and influence environmental factors to obtain more positive effects on organizational activities. So that's controlling. Okay. So let's first discuss on the coping strategies. Coping strategies are those used to protect internal operations from the harmful effects of changes in the environment. So what are these strategies? So actually there are 7 coping strategies. First, we have buffering. This refers to setting up buffers for both input and output sides of organizational activities in order to absorb and cope with environmental uncertainty. Okay. Programs or practices are instituted to prevent environmental factors from upsetting the production process. So, take for example a shipping company. So an example input buffer is the stock file of fuel by a shipping company to provide some assurance of unhampered operation for a certain period. Okay. So when the production outputs of finished goods are not disposed as fast as they are produced, it may cause disruption in the production activities of the firm. If such disruption will jeopardize operations, management may choose to sell their products at low prices, sometimes even lower than production cost. So this action is referred to as buffering on the output side, okay? Because uh, it is a fact that at times the finished goods will not be sold, okay? It will not all be sold to the market. So in order to, okay, in order that the operation of the business will not be jeopardized, the management may choose to sell their products at low prices or even lower than the production cost. Or sometimes they just make it break even. Next is smoothing. Irregular demand is always a problem for many business firms. This is so because of the difficulty in making adjustments concerning manpower and equipment. This is remedied by smoothing, which refers to efforts involved in reducing changes in the environment. So an example of smoothing is the offering of discounts during slack seasons, like selling raincoats at big discounts during summer. Okay. Next is forecasting. This refers to making predictions, projections, or estimates of future events or conditions in the environment in which the organization operates. If forecasting is effective, the business firm will be able to make necessary adjustments in its operation to meet changes in the environment. For instance, a newspaper publisher who was able to forecast and determine a steady decline in newspaper readership will have the advantage of considering other options before the event actually happens. Okay. Or for instance, because of the use of internet, okay? So almost everyone can access information from the internet or can even watch movies or shows in the internet. So a company that sell VCDs or DVDs, okay, will consider other options, right? Next is rationing. This happens when the organization ignores some operations and emphasizes others in order to preserve the most critical functions of the technical core. An example is the university, which temporarily deploys its research personnel to assist in enrollment activities. After the enrollment period, the reassigned employees go back to their permanent units. Next, boundary spanning. This is the process of creating jobs or roles in which individual employees are required to have strong communication links within their department, with people in other units, and often with external community. The individuals called boundary spanners gather and collect critical information, which can be used for planning in the technical core. The information gathered can also be used to reduce uncertainty in some areas of operation. Then we have structural complexity. This is when the business adapts to the environment by setting up departments or subsystems that will respond to specific groupings of environmental factors. For example, the production of a book publishing company may create another unit that will deal with authors' concerns. Another example is the creation of senior citizens lanes in various government offices and large retail establishments. So I think you can notice that in government offices, okay, there are senior citizens lanes, and also in big establishments like in malls. And now, with during the pandemic, there's also these frontliners lanes, okay, for front lines only. So that's the priority lane. Okay. And the last one is executive succession. One way of adapting to uncertainty in the environment is the adoption of an effective executive succession. The replacement of a top manager by another manager is referred to as executive succession. So, what are the advantages for executive succession? First, it enables the organization to hire executives with new energy and vitality. Next, it provides organization with a way to bring in specific skills needed to analyze and respond to the environment. And third, provides a coordinated means of replacing retiring executives. So if the company has this executive succession, if the executive will resign or will retire, there will be a smooth succession. Okay. Then let's go to controlling. Okay, so far, the discussions here focus on how business firms can apply specific strategies to cope with changes in the environment. The business firm has another option, however. So it may make some moves to control the environment. And controlling the environment consists of two categories. They are creating favorable linkages and manipulating the environment. Okay. The objective of creating favorable linkages is to reduce environmental uncertainty. This can be achieved by using any of the following methods. First, we have the merger. There are times when the activities of one business firm cause uncertainty to another. For instance, a certain manufacturer of grocery products failed several times in its commitment to deliver items that were purchased earlier by a big retailing firm. To reduce or eliminate this uncertainty, the big retailer decided to acquire the supplier company. Such move is called merger, and it constitutes a method for controlling the environment. Next, joint ventures. There are also times when a company finds it difficult to operate in a particular market, especially those located overseas. So a car manufacturer, for instance, may create a favorable linkage by forming a temporary business partnership with a local distributor. Such method of reducing environmental uncertainty is called joint venture. Then we have interlocking directorates. When some members of the board of directors of one company are also members of the board of another company, Such arrangement is called interlocking directorates. This happens when the expert needed by the company is a current member of the board of another corporation. A retired bank executive, for instance, may be recruited to sit on the board of directors of a company, even if he is currently a member of the board of another company. Then we have executive recruitment. Companies hire executives who have prior experience in the industry. For instance, it is not hard to determine the benefits that may be derived by a local university which recruits as president a recently retired regional director of a government agency which oversees the operation of local colleges and universities. Okay. Then, institutional advertising. So this type of advertising is designed to build goodwill for a company among stockholders, employees, distributors, the public, and the government. And resource flows. This term refers to the pattern of resource exchanges between the organization and other organizations in the environment. In the attempt to control the environment, the manager can make important decisions on the pattern of exchanges. So his options fall under any of the following. Frequency of exchanges. Okay. For instance, a university may decide to set relationships with many book distributors or to rely only on one distributor. So once the relationship is established, the university may choose to buy books more often or occasionally. Or another option is quantity involved in the exchanges. A decision may also be adopted on the quantity of books that will be purchased. So all of the above will be done in the interest of better performance in the organization. Okay, so how about manipulating the environment? Okay, so organization may attempt to manipulate the environment by using any or all of the following. First, we have changing elements. A business organization may seek to manipulate its environment by changing one or more environmental elements in which it operates. Okay. For example, a large distributor of motorcycles signed an exclusive distribution contract with a certain manufacturer. So the benefit offered to the distributor is substantial financing support provided by the manufacturer. So after more than 10 years of successful operations, okay, the manufacturer of a certain brand, okay, a certain brand of motorcycle made successful penetration of the various market segments, including those served, okay, by another, okay, distributor. So the viability of the distributor's operations was placed in jeopardy. To avoid the consequence of declining sales, the distributor changed its competitive element of a single brand dealership to a multi-brand leadership. So this change brought the distributor back to its former competitive strength. Next is lobbying. This term refers to the act of attempting to influence business and government to create legislation or conduct an activity that will help a particular organization. The lobbying usually involves paying an individual to represent the interests of the organization to decision makers in the government. Lobbyists may be employees of the organization or may be hired by the organization on a full-time or part-time basis. And the last one is forming trade associations. So one way of manipulating the environment is through trade associations, which are composed of member organizations that share a common interest. Okay, so members of trade associations pool the resources to influence government policies affecting their business, right? Okay, thank you for watching this video. Okay, I hope you have a better understanding on uncertain environments where the business operates and how to survive with these uncertainties. It's either you use or apply coping strategies or adoption of environmental control measures. Okay, thank you.